Hey guys, Richigonzo here. Now, today, I'm making another Smash video because I'm just really hyped. E3 presentation is about a month, a little bit more from now, and honestly the only thing that I really care about is Nintendo, because, but in any case, I'm going to be doing something that a lot of people have already done, so I decided, alright, well, let me jump on the bandwagon. Now, what am I doing? This is my top 5 characters that I want in Smash. Now, a lot of these characters haven't been on a lot of people's lists. I have no characters on here like Shovel Knight, Dixie Kong, King K. Rool. None of those characters are on this list, so some of these picks might surprise you, but at the same time I do have some popular ones. I would love to hear your opinions on it on the comments below, and tell me who you want, who you don't want. Do you agree with my list or do you not? But with that out of the way, let's get right into it. Alright, so for my 5th pick on who I want in the game, I'm going to go with Paper Mario. So, there's already one thing wrong with this. He's another Mario character, and yeah, we have a lot. But I feel like that doesn't really matter with Paper Mario though, because he's such a unique character. Like, you take Paper Mario and you compare him to someone like Odyssey Mario, and there are just so many differences. He's such a unique character. He has a ton of different assets that can be implemented into Smash Brothers. I feel like they'd probably take more assets from his newer games, like Sticker Star and Color Splash, unfortunately, because those 2 games are hot garbage, but it's alright. If they somehow implemented stuff from Thousand Year Door in the original, though, that'd be amazing. But there are just a lot of things they could do for his moveset. They could implement the partner system somehow. Maybe like how Pac-Man has fruits, you know, his neutral B. Maybe they could implement partners into his final Smash. They could use the Crystal Stars, the Star Spirits. They could use the Star Rod, which Bowser used against him, but maybe he could use it somehow. I don't know. There are just so many different ideas. Paper Mario power-ups from Super Paper Mario, like the Mega Mushroom. There are just a lot of different ideas that could take place. It'd be a really cool concept, and he'd play a lot differently than most of the Mario cast does. And it'd be really cool. Maybe they could even implement his hammer into like a side B, which would be really cool, as, you know, we don't have RPG Mario in the game, which has his hammer. So I feel like it'd be pretty cool to see Paper Mario's hammer in the game as well. It'd be a really cool feature, and I would love to see him in the game. Be a great pick. Moving on. Alright, so at number 4, I'm going to go with Bomberman. Bomberman is one of those characters where I'm kind of surprised he's not in the game already. So, not only is he a pretty popular pick, but he's been pretty prominent in the history of Nintendo. He's had his first appearance on the NES, he's appeared in Nintendo 64 games, he was in the GBA, maybe even had some DS games, and recently, which really surprised me, since I thought he was kind of dead, was at the Switch's launch. He got a new title, Super Bomberman R. Huh, who would have thought? I didn't pick up the game, but it looked pretty nice. I'm not sure what the review scores were, but hopefully they were decent. Anyway, Bomberman is just one of those characters where, why is he not in yet? Like, there are just so many things that you could take. It might just sound like I'm being repetitive over here with, oh, there's just so many assets that you could use, but I feel like he'd be a genuinely interesting character to see, and he'd play really differently. I feel like he'd be kind of like a zoner, like Mega Man, since he has bombs, but his smash attacks would be all melee attacks. It'd be really interesting to see him in the game. There are tons of fan games that already implement him, there's some mods for him, and he'd be a really great character. There's also, like I said, a lot of different assets you could take from, like from Bomberman 64, different power-ups that you see in the Bomberman NES game. You could take from his helpers. I think the most obvious one they could use is Poppy, which is like this electric kind of bunny thing that he's had in multiple different of his games. It'd be pretty cool to have Poppy implemented into his moveset, which is something I don't see people talk about very often, which kind of surprises me, because Poppy is pretty interesting, and I would love to see him as maybe like a side B or something. It's similar to kind of like how the helpers are in Paper Mario, only it's not turn-based. So Poppy could use her electric, or his electric, I'm not sure what gender it is, their electric attacks to just fend off enemies. So that'd be pretty cool. Bomberman has a lot of potential for Smash. I'm kind of surprised he's not in yet. But hey, hopefully we'll see him in the future. Moving on. So for my next pick at number 3 is a pretty obscure pick that I actually have not seen anyone pick yet. Yeah, not a single Smash, oh, I want this character in game, like, list. No one has chosen this guy. Hey, here he is. It's the Drifter. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, search up the game Hyperlight Drifter right now. Literally pause the video, search up Hyperlight Drifter on Steam, and buy it. Because it's amazing. It's a great game. It's a phenomenal game. Think of it as like Dark Souls mixed with Overhead Zelda. So something like Link Between Worlds. Excuse me, not Link Between Worlds. Something like Link to the Past. And, not Majora's Mask. Minish Cap. Something like that. So it's like Dark Souls crossed with Overhead Zelda. It's a really good game. The whole thing is told not through dialogue, but through pictures. There's no dialogue in the game. And they could probably implement that into its taunts, which would be amazing. And it's an indie game, so I don't have very high hopes that the Drifter will get in. If any indie game character is going to get in, it's going to be Shovel Knight. That's pretty obvious. He has an amiibo on him. He's gotten a lot of support from Nintendo. I honestly think that Shovel Knight is going to get in. I think he's going to get in. And he was probably very popular on the ballot as well. So, Shovel Knight's going to get in. I don't have too much doubt on that. But if the Drifter somehow makes it in, he could be a very interesting character. He has a lot of different assets from his games you could take from. Of course, he is a sword fighter, and we do have a lot of sword fighters, but he's kind of like Robin in the sense where he doesn't really have a book, but he has guns. He has a bunch of different types of guns that he has. He has pistols, these sniper rifles. He has the minigun, which could probably be his final smash, considering how broken it is. And he could be a really, really cool character. His art style from the game is really different from the rest of the cast. And I feel like he'd be a really unique character. One thing that is a really big selling point for me, for him being unique, is the dash mechanic that you have in Hyperlight Drifter. Now the dash mechanic, the way it works is that you start off as a regular dash, you can dash once, and you can upgrade it to chain dashing. Now, what chain dashing lets you do is you can just dash as many times as you want, as long as you don't screw up the timing or you don't hit an obstacle. This chain dashing mechanic is pretty similar how like Mega Man X's works, only you can't do it midair because you don't really jump in the game, because like I said, it's like Zelda overhead. So you can do a quick dash in whatever direction you're holding the D-pad in, or a control stick, depending on what you like to play with. And it's a really cool mechanic. This could be implemented in Smash, his chain dashing. Maybe you could chain dash up to like 3 times or something. And maybe you could chain dash in midair. He can't do that in the game since he doesn't even jump in the game, but maybe they could do that. And if they implement his chain dashes into his game, maybe as like a side B, that would be really, really cool, because that could lead to some really just absolutely crazy combos and follow-ups with that dash mechanic. It's a really quick dash, like a couple frames quick. So, well, maybe not a couple frames, but it's really, really fast. It comes out quick. So I feel like he'd be a very fast, mobility-based character that hits hard, but would be kind of like a glass cannon. I don't think he'd be floaty like Mewtwo, but I don't think he'd be very, like, bulky. He'd be like a fast character, kind of like Marth. But obviously a little bit different, because he does have his guns, which would probably be his neutral B, so he could zone people out. Maybe he could swap to different guns using his down B, like to a sniper rifle, or a pistol, or, well, his minigun would probably be his final smash. Or maybe he could use the attack that he used against the final boss, or something. Maybe one of the attacks he used against any of the other bosses, the final blow he did. There are just a lot of things you could take from Hyperlight Drifter, and before I move on to the next character, I'm going to keep going on the game a little bit. Advertisement. It's a great game. I highly suggest you could check it out. I do have a little bit of hope for the Drifter in Smash, because his original game, Hyperlight Drifter, is coming to the Switch, I believe, during the summer in July. They announced it back in the Nindies showcase that they did a while back. And they announced Hyperlight Drifter for the Switch. And on top of that, there is a Smash clone named Brawlout that is already on the Switch that has him as a playable character. So I highly suggest you look up who the Drifter is. I feel like it'd be a great character, a great addition to Smash, If we're gonna have any indie, I prefer it be him, but I think Shovel Knight's gonna take the spot over him. But I feel like the Drifter would be a great addition, and he's just awesome. Anyway, let's go on. So number 2, where you're nearing the end. At number 2, I'm gonna go for a little bit more of a popular pick, and I can definitely see why. It's a Pokemon, it's Decidueye. I chose him over Incineroar because of the fact that Charizard's in the game, and I don't think they do 2 fire types. And I also chose him over Zeraora, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, that new electric type, because I feel like he's a little bit too new, but anything can happen, honestly, because like Greninja was put in Smash, and X and Y, I don't even think was out yet, so he was a completely new mon, but they put him in, so honestly, anything could happen. But I do think that Decidueye probably has the greatest chance of getting in. Originally, this slot was going to be Squirtle and Ivysaur, and then I weighed their chances against Decidueye, and I said, well, I think Decidueye has a better chance of getting in, because even though Squirtle and Ivysaur are vets, and I miss them a lot, Ivysaur, I would play Pokemon Trainer just to play Ivysaur. I loved him. And Project M Ivysaur is probably the best iteration of him that I've ever seen. I would love Project M Ivysaur in Smash. But I weighed his chances against Charizard, or excuse me, not Charizard, against Decidueye, and I think Decidueye is a more likely pick, because they wouldn't put in Ivysaur and not put in Squirtle. And they pretty much can't put in Squirtle or Ivysaur anymore, because if you put in Squirtle, then we have 2 water starters in the game with Greninja and Squirtle, and they can't put in Ivysaur because then you'd have to put in Squirtle to bring back the original trio. So there are 2 possible scenarios that could happen right now. They remove Greninja and put in Ivysaur and Squirtle, or they keep Greninja and put in Decidueye. I think that second scenario where they keep Greninja and put in Decidueye is probably the most likely, because then they'd have one of each type of starter Pokemon, and they'd be relatively new Pokemon, besides Charizard. So I feel like that scenario is probably the most likely. Decidueye will work very well as Smash character, incredibly well. He has, you don't even need, literally you could just play through the game as Decidueye, as your starter, and you could already think of a moveset. Bet right now. So down B could be, his neutral B, for example, could be something like Leaf Blade or what am I saying, Leaf Blade? No, Spirit Shackle. His bow and arrow. His signature move, Spirit Shackle. Maybe you could stun opponents for a little bit, since that's what it does in the game. It prevents them from escaping, so they can't flee or swap out. So maybe you could stun them for a little bit. That could lead into some pretty crazy combos, you know? A little bit of stun time, you could do some crazy setups with that. His side B could be Leaf Blade. He gets Leaf Blade by level up, and maybe it could be some sort of projectile deflector. So his up B, I feel like there are also ideas, because even though he's not a ghost type, his prior evolutions, or excuse me, even though he is a ghost type, his prior evolutions were flying types, so he has moves like Fly and Brave Bird that he could use for his up B. Brave Bird would be amazing. Brave Bird would be crazy. Like, be like a powerful up B. I don't think they implement the recoil damage, because that would, like, every time he recovers, he takes damage. That would suck. But I mean, there are just a lot of ideas for the Decidueye. Maybe his final smash, easy, a Z move. Sinister Arrow Raid, and then his down B can maybe be something like Substitute or False Swipe. I'm not sure how False Swipe would work. Or maybe Shadow Ball, like another range attack. I don't know. The Decidueye would probably be, judging by his stats, he'd probably be like an all-around character, kind of like Mario, but with crazy aerial game thanks to his wings. He'd probably also be able to triple jump, which would be pretty cool, as, you know, he has wings. So yeah, the triple jump it's pretty obvious. Or quadruple. Maybe like Charizard. I don't even know how many times he can jump. Probably like 4 or 5. But Decidueye is a pretty obvious choice. I would love to see him in the game, and I hope it happens. Alright, so we've finally come to this. My number 1 pick for who I want in Smash Switch. It's Gino. It's Gino. Who else could I pick? So he comes from Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. Old game on the SNES. And his last appearance was in 2003 as a cameo in Superstar Saga. You're probably just like, oh, why has Nintendo not brought him back? It's been so long, 2003, wow. Well, they probably would have brought him back by now. But the thing is that the laughing, joking numbnuts over at Square Enix actually owns him, because Mario RPG was a collaboration between Nintendo and Square, where at the time they were called Squaresoft. For his moveset, I could definitely see his neutral B. being Gino Beam. And before I go on with this moveset, I just want to say something. Super Smash Bros. Crusade is a fan game of Smash, and they have Gino in it. That is the way they designed Gino in Smash Crusade, the current version. I think it's version 0.91 or something. That iteration of Gino is probably the best one that I've ever seen. There are Project M mods, and he looks 10 times better there because it's a 3D model. But his moveset in Smash Crusade is pretty much the perfect moveset. It's amazing. His neutral B is Gino Beam, the ability you start off with the game. You can charge it, just like you can in the actual game. Side B Gino Whirl, down B Gino Blast, and his up B Gino Boost. Now, Gino Boost actually gives him buffs too. It increases attack and defense for a short period of time. So kind of like deep breathing, only it's his recovery. Now you can't just spam it and stack, that's not how it works. But I think it'd be pretty cool, because they stayed very true to the game with Gino's design, which is what I love. They kept him balanced, because he's a balanced character. They kept him balanced, they kept him fun to play, both as and against. And on top of that, they stayed true to the actual game. And what I mean by that is that in Super Mario RPG, there's a mechanic where if you use an attack on an enemy, right? And if you press the attack button, I think it's A, at a certain time, you will increase the damage that you do. So it's kind of like how in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, or pretty much any Paper Mario game except, well actually yeah, even the newer ones, where you use your jump ability and you have to time A just right to keep jumping. It's kind of like that, only the ability does way more damage if you time it right. And they implemented that into Gino's moveset, which is amazing. You know, like if you press B at the right time between, you know, in Gino Blast or Gino Whirl, and some of his smash attacks as well, if you press the A button at a certain time, the attack will do more damage. So they implemented that from his original game, which I love. That was a great idea. Props to them. And his final smash, of course, was his cannon, which I forget the name of right now, I'm sorry. And then he shoots this huge fireball. It's great. He has a ton of ideas. He's a very original character. I would love to see him come back. And he has a chance, because I think he has the biggest chance out of any Nintendo character, or any character. He would have, let me rephrase that. He would have the greatest chance of getting in the game than any other character in existence right now, because Sakurai himself wants him in the game. He said in an interview, after the Gino skin came out, after the Gino Mii costume skin came out, he said that he has wanted Gino in the game as a playable character since Smash Bros. Brawl. But he just said it never worked out in an interview. He didn't say why, but I'm assuming it was because Square Enix was being a piece of garbage. So I love you, Square, but come on, just sell Gino to Nintendo already. Like, honestly, you're not doing anything with him. Just sell him. Just sell him. But back to Gino. So Sakurai himself wanted him in the game, and on top of that, he got in as a Mii costume. So Sakurai wants him in, plus he's had some experience with Smash before, possibly could maybe equal another Square Enix character. And he's not impossible either, because people used to say, oh, only one representation per third party. But Ryu kind of broke that rule, because Capcom owns Street Fighter and Mega Man. And we got 2 Capcom reps in Smash now, which means that we can have more than one rep per third party. And if that's true, then Gino can slide right in there with Cloud, which was a really... Cloud surprised the hell out of me. I really didn't think, but hey, it happened. In any case, I really want Gino. I feel like he'd be one of the best additions to the Smash roster. He plays very differently. I would love to see him in the game. And we can only hope, right? We can only hope. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Those are my top 5 characters that I want in the game. As you can see, Waluigi's nowhere on this list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I would love to hear your opinions in the comments. Please tell me who you want in the game, who you don't want in the game. And do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? Just like I said in the video. Alright, just like I said at the beginning of the video, please let me know what your guys' opinions are. I would love to hear them. And if you enjoyed the video, I would also appreciate it if you left a like. And if you're enjoying all my content so far, I would also appreciate it if you subbed, because it just helps the channel get more attention. I would love to be, you know, a pretty big and prominent, you know, Nintendo guy on the internet, or just anything guy, honestly. So thank you guys again so much for watching until the end, if you did, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.